Hi, welcome to our Exegetical Task video number 10. In this video, we're going to be covering the 10th Exegetical Task from your packet. Go ahead and turn to that page in your packet. This one is about word studies. The goal is to identify any significant word in your passage and acquire information to understand those words. I'm going to transition now to the PowerPoint as we work through this, but follow along in your packet and make notes as you find necessary. All right. We're going to identify significant words in our passage and decide what they mean. Read through the passage 3 times. Not 3 times at once, but each time you're looking for something else. So you're looking for keywords, cultural words, and theological words. The first time through, look for keywords. Second time through, look for cultural words. Third time through, look for theological words. Make a list and the verse number where you find them. Okay, the first of these two will occupy our focus for this lesson, and the theological words are going to be on a separate video, and they get turned in on a separate date. It's just massive if you try to do all these 3 at once. Okay, any word that occurs twice or more is a key word. Okay, and you can think about something that's the key word for your passage. If it occurs twice in your passage, it's a key word for your passage. Now, there's another level to this. It could be a keyword in your book, but only once in your passage. So you also want to go and look at how many times that word appears in your book. There's a couple of ways to do that quickly. You can either do a Logos or a BibleWorks search and find all the instances and where they appear. But you can also look at the photocopies that I'm going to be providing from either Kubo or Burr or Miller, and you'll know how many times it occurs: once in the book, secondly by the author, and thirdly in the New Testament. And that gives you sort of a gauge at whether this author is using that word more frequently or less frequently than other authors. So this is helpful for determining keywords. If it occurs twice in your passage, it's a keyword for your passage. Write down each reference where keywords are located and how many times that you counted it. Look for synonym pairs in your passage. Any 2 words that are synonymous, that's going to be a keyword for you. All right. List any word that occurs once in your passage but 3 times or more in the book. This is where you reference the photocopies that I'll be adding. Use Kubo. Okay, that Kubo or Miller, either one's fine, and I'm going to put photocopies of that for you. Also note rare words. Any word that only appears 1 time in the New Testament, but it's in your book, in your passage, it's significant to your passage, because that word usually has a host of debates around it. All right. Look up each word in Danker or a similar Greek dictionary. I don't know what all dictionaries you might have access to, but dictionaries I recommend are either Montanari's from Brill, Danker's, or Liddell Scott Jones. These are all excellent dictionaries and widely used and appreciated in the world of biblical scholarship. List all the meanings that are provided in the dictionary. Decide which of those meanings best fits the context of your passage. Your passage might actually be listed in a dictionary entry. If it is, mention that. Cultural words. Moving on from keywords to cultural words. List any words that are places, names, or customs. If it's a name of the thing, it's a cultural word, even if it's just a city or a town or a country name. Those have cultural significance. Names of things or people, sometimes people names, will be cultural words. Customs. All capitalized words in your text are most likely a cultural word. The thing you're going to do next is look these words up in a Bible dictionary. And there's so many that you could use that would be useful. Typically, a theological library will have more than one of these to choose from. Just kind of skim through them and pick which one you like best. You're going to look this up in at least 2 Bible dictionaries, and you can, if you have access to it, use the Dictionary of Paul and His Letters as your second one. These are often the best places to find concise cultural information. Harper, Zondervan, InterVarsity, and Holman all have good ones. There's others that are good as well. Those are the 4 on my shelf. Write down key facts that you found in one of the Bible dictionaries. Now, here's an example from 1 Thessalonians 1, 2 through 10. Notice that I categorize my keywords on one side and my cultural words on the other. And for the cultural words, sometimes you've got to brainstorm a little bit. Is this possibly or potentially a cultural word? And you want to include that. For example, idols. Well, it's just a thing. It's a chunk of stone with a face on it. But wait a minute. People culturally have different ways that they worship idols and respect idols. So yeah, that's a cultural word. And then you add it in there. Religion is culture when you're trying to decide what category to put it in. Any religious artifacts or shrines or anything like that goes under culture. So keywords, always and constantly, kept showing up in this passage. And those are synonyms, right? Or close. Mentioning and remembering, again, synonym pairs. The word know was in there twice. Imitate or example in there 3 times. Rang out was a hapax legomenon, meaning it only appeared once. Faith was in there twice, and Holy Spirit was in there. Cultural words included Macedonia, Achaia, 2 geography terms, and idols, which points to the Gentile culture at this point. All right, now we're going to stop there and conclude this video here. We'll have a separate video to talk about the rest of the keywords. The theological words will be on a separate video, and it's because they're on a separate turn-in date. A lot of times you spend more effort on the theological words than you do on these. Locating your keywords can take a bit of time, but identifying your cultural words and finding out information on them is usually pretty easy. I wish you the best on this part of the project, and I'll sign off here and see you next week.